In today's news, despite the SEC's tyrannical stance on crypto regulations, we have just received bombshell massive confirmation that they have actually already greenlighted one of America's largest banks, Bny Mellon, to move forward with Bitcoin and crypto custody. This is a very big deal, and actually, believe it or not, it coincides with what Ripple have been saying for years now. This post here from David Schwartz, Ripple CTO, he posted this recently, states and confirms that virtually no crypto right now is being used for payments. XRP, he believes, stands a better chance than many others because it has wide availability, is a top 5 in market cap, and has low fees and fast confirmations. David Schwartz doesn't think that XRP is being used for payments for the same reason that no cryptos are being used for payments today, and that's because of a lack of regulatory clarity that has been enforced by this brainwashed SEC. Ultimately, regulations is the one thing, potentially the last only thing holding back crypto today. The one thing that will stop the SEC in its tracks and usher a new wave of institutional adoption, one that we have never ever seen before, the biggest in our lifetime, trillions flooding on chain. And due to the advantage of XRP compared to other cryptocurrencies right now, they stand a better chance than most to skyrocket in adoption and price following regulatory clarity. Thank God their lawsuit with the SEC is close to an end, which will provide XRP the legal regulatory clarity they deserve. The only asset in history to have this, mind you, which is going to be a very, very big deal. So yeah, of course, we need regulations. That is no news to us. But what is news is this bombshell that I covered briefly in yesterday's video, where Senator Cynthia Lummis's general counsel says the SEC has already given Bny Mellon and seemingly them alone a various approval, so special permission to move forward with Bitcoin and crypto custody. This is game changing. Take a very close listen.
There's been a bipartisan eruption in both chambers. You know, the House passed FIT 21 with 71 Democrats, and we actually hit the magic number of 60 on the SAB 121 repeal in May, and getting 60 votes in the Senate's like climbing Mount Everest on a piece of legislation. So I think there's a great deal of bipartisan interest in both chambers. One thing I neglected to mention in my update too, that potentially has some bearing on the SPDI is Bank of New York Mellon is looking to get more involved in the crypto custody business. They had some problems with Staff Accounting Bulletin 121, and the SEC has apparently given them some kind of variance from SAB 121 to move forward. And also, part and parcel of that is the Fed, as the Fed regulates Bank of New York Mellon's bank holding company, they would have had to have given their non-objection under current legal requirements and guidance to Bank of New York Mellon getting into the digital asset custody business. So
in that vein, any sense, are they going to go through the bit license process with the state of New York, or are they kind of looking at alternative options, or
Bank of New York Mellon?
Yeah.
So they're going to argue the bit license preempted, very likely.
So yes, this is very bullish, showcasing signs of this incoming regulatory approval adoption from Wall Street, no mind. But this is also a sign of the SEC's corruption, which we know stems very, very deep. This is a sign of a low integrity move. In the words of Meta Lawman here, the right thing to do, the high integrity move, would have been for the SEC to withdraw SAB 121 after the votes in Congress decided to repeal it, but they didn't. Of course, they didn't do that. What they did instead is they decided to grant special permission, exemptions to certain well-connected big banks, allowing them to get ahead of the curve, which is, again, corrupt and bent. Gary Gensler is meant to be protecting all investors, being a level playing field, not just with his buddies in Wall Street. This is another reason on an ever-growing list why he is not fit for office and needs to go. But in saying that, I believe it's still very bullish for the incoming crypto custody, crypto adoption, and especially for XRP, as Bny Mellon's banking heir Matthew Mellon had bought almost $1 billion in Ripple's XRP more than 6 years ago. This is huge news, not to mention that Bny Mellon's former head of digital asset products, Maxime de Guillebon, now works for Ripple. The coincidence maybe, but we know that Ripple is partnered with all the major central banks and trade FIs and FIs all over the world, and when it comes to XRP, we see way too many coincidences on a daily basis for it to be nothing more than just that. It has to be something that is hidden in the shadows. So Bny Mellon have prepared for XRP's takeoff seemingly, and will be a first mover in the United States to custody crypto. best believe with the lawsuit verdict and potentially settlement deal only 2 weeks away now, XRP will be in Mellon's sight. We already know that Grayscale and Robinhood have made their moves already after originally distancing themselves from XRP when the lawsuit was filed originally. Now they have come crawling back, which is very, very bullish for XRP's future and incoming price explosion. Not to mention we have the BRICS accelerating their developments as well. The banks are closing down faster and faster. There is no doubt that America needs to act fast. But this is why I'm so optimistic for this incoming crypto bull market, the most volatile and explosive market we will ever witness in our history, in my opinion, which is why I created a free to join Discord server. 340 of us right now are working towards achieving financial freedom. We are all growing every day, learning so much every day. So by all means, come and be part of the family. Link to join will be in the description below. So, in continuation, as we can see in this post from Chad Steingraber here, 134 countries are now in digital currency territory, which is huge news. This is the global flip from analog to digital, from fiat to crypto, from banks to CBDCs. As this post here from Smoke discusses the incoming BRICS summit taking place next month in October, the document that I covered in my previous videos regarding Citibank, talking about the big reset that is currently happening, which is a great opportunity, a once in a lifetime opportunity for you to become financially free. Citibank confirms this, and then we have these documents here on the BRICS SDRs and cryptocurrencies that confirm the BRICS joint cryptocurrency will reset the banking market. Very, very, very big news. To which we have this interview here further supporting this statement with Tether CEO confirming that with the inevitable rise of CBDCs, we will see the destruction, banks being killed.
But I want to ask you about CBDCs, Paolo, central bank digital currencies. You know, many would say that stable coins are continuing their growth until the day there's a US dollar CBDC. What's your view of the interaction we're going to have with CBDCs and stable coins? Do you think one will replace the other, they will cohabitate, or actually you think we're so far from having mainstream adoption of CBDCs, especially in emerging markets, actually?
Well, I think that when it comes, if you live in emerging markets, you will still look for a currency that is different than your local currency that you can rely on. So I don't think that will change. If I know that certain parties in the US, and both the Democrats and Republicans are trying to pass some bills that would prevent the government to launch, or the Fed to launch a CBDC. It's quite scary, especially if launched from a government as powerful as the US, because that would be the first time that the central bank and the state would have access to every single transaction that any person would make. Today, if you have a credit card, you go and purchase a coffee somewhere, yeah, that transaction is between you and the bank or the issuer of that debit card. But if you use a CBDC, every single transaction you make is going to be potentially reviewed directly by the central bank and the government. So it's almost a way to geolocate people and understand their exact habits and control potentially people. So that is very, very scary. So I don't think it will happen anytime soon, at least when it comes to the US. Europe is discussing about the digital euro, but in a very reduced form, up to 5,000 euros per wallet. Very limited use case, also because a CBDC could kill banks. You know.
This mic drop interview from Tether CEO here confirms the inevitable shift in our monetary system, the rise of crypto with real world use cases for payments, and we already have seen signs of this shift happening as the bank's shutdowns are escalating, totaling 539, and more are on the way because by October 1st, which is less than 10 days away from now, banks are required to comply with Basel III regulations. Did you know also XRP is a part of the Basel Committee? Again, another coincidence in my opinion, but after the 1st of October, as we can see, US Treasury bonds will no longer qualify as collateral under Basel III. Fiat, therefore, will drop off quicker and the shift towards crypto and XRP will happen faster. And then we have this diagram, this post from Smoke here showcasing it perfectly, emphasizing Ripple and the Internet Protocol's central position in the evolving financial landscape. Governments are exploring CBDCs and financial infrastructure that align with Ripple's technology, making Ripple's crucial to state-led blockchain initiatives. Ripple's ability to interact with major FIs like SWIFT demonstrates its relevance within traditional banking networks, and Ripple's technology, including the Internet Protocol, facilitates links between crypto projects and a broader financial system. This is why Bny Mellon bought nearly $1 billion in XRP over 6 years ago, preparing for XRP's inevitable takeover. But do your own research, come chill, chat, and know so much more on the free Discord server. Again, the links are below. But remember, don't look short term, think long term, and I'll see you in the next one.